Everything was European background. The upbringing, the teaching in school. But my father was a pastor, a pastor, and everything had to be English. And everything. We were not even allowed to speak our country's language in schools, and they called the language they called our own languages vernacular. So English was the real language you had to speak in school. So everything was English. With what we were taught in schools, nobody was thinking of whether to be African or not. We just accepted that we were English, and anybody that went to England for studies was a master. So everybody wants to go to England, come back home to be master. So I never thought about it, being African as such. So it didn't mean anything to me until much later in my life. It was in England I started to feel the awareness of having to be an African, because for the first time I came to England, I started to feel, oh wow, so these white people don't like us too much. This is my experience from having to rent rooms. I had so much. At that time, you read the newspapers in England, house for rent, no coloreds, no dogs, and all this. That annoyed me a lot, and not many students. So at my student days in England, I started to be aware of having to be an African, but we had nothing to offer as Africans because we were all just taught English. Like one of the latest songs I'm singing now, I said, "Teacher, don't teach me nonsense." Right. Now I was trying to let my people see, because in Africa people respect teachers. Teachers, because they teach English and they teach their pupils. Respect teachers and pastors. In Africa. So okay, now I saw that I should now use teacher as my focus. So I said, I titled the song, "Teacher, Don't Teach Me Nonsense." Now, I now wove this song into letting the people see that the white men have taught us everything we know. But I made people see also that one important thing they taught us was politics. Because I wove in the song to the elections in Nigeria, because it was a farce. Now I mentioned democracy. Now in English man will say democracy. But if the African man wants to say it in broken, he will say democracy. You see now. I now thought of the word. I said, crazy. Now I saw craziness. I said I could now let my people see that democracy really is not that word, that it's really madness. So I said, now I started to sing. I said, I start to think of this word democracy. Democracy. Crazy demo. Demonstration of grace. Crazy demonstration. Then I went a little bit serious, because I know that people will laugh at that when they hear that. Then I went a little bit serious. I said, if it's not crazy, why that in Africa, as time goes forward, things is getting worse. Poor man, they cry. Rich man, they mess. Democracy. Crazy demo. Demonstration of grace. Then I ended up, to fuck the minds of the colonialists up, I said, if good teacher teach something, if a good teacher teaches something, and a student make mistake, teacher must tell him that he's making mistake.
I want you to tell us what you know. This is a research house. Is the problem.
First and foremost, Part of our crisis is colonial mentality. Do you think it's possible to do away with English?
To do what? Why not? Do away with English. Why not?
Yes. If we can do away with English,
Yes.
to see how can we now seek to cultivate an indigenous language for communication.
Yeah.
National Policy of Education, 1976, stipulate language of instruction in primary school should be the language of wider communication in the area. Who is applying it? Who is even using it? Language has not been a barrier. Has not been a barrier. But all the time, always, when you say, okay, let us use Hausa in particular area. Some people say, no, they want to Islamize also. You understand? Isn't it? This kind of mentality, we have to do away with it. We have to ensure that, no, we have to see how we can localize even our thinking. We are now forced to believe more as Europeans than Africans, than Nigerians. If we believe ourselves, if we truly believe in ourselves, please, we have to do away with a lot of colonial mentalities. Don't compare American Civil War and Nigerian Civil War. They are quite different. Look at Indian Civil War, but you have to understand, why is Pakistan come out from India? You understand? These are part of the issue that British completely planted in India. You can see also now there is a Kashmir, isn't it? So these are part of colonial antecedents. Why we have to understand where our problem arise and how we be able to ensure that we break away from all this colonial mentality. But it's very difficult. Very difficult because we are in a situation where we are in the age where the British and the Western world control everything. The media are thinking. They pass out everything. If they want to make you black today, they can make you black, and everybody will hate you in Nigeria. Today, if they want to make you black, they can paint you black, and everybody will hate you. You understand? And if they want to make you white, they can make you white, and everyone can trust you because we trust them and believe in them more than any other thing. Even trust them more than our leaders. So how can we solve our problem? That is why I'm still advocating we need attitudinal change. The attitude is, see, how can you advocate a pan-Nigerian project?
No, we didn't see him until the time we actually shot him. He ran away from his house when we fired the first few shots of anti-tank gun into the building. The whole roof was blown up and the place was set alight. Then we went to the rear of the house and started searching from room to room until we found him amongst the women and children, hiding himself. So we sort of took away the women and children and took him.
Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu's decision to grant a press interview boasting about the night raid on the Saduana's house was a catastrophic mistake that would haunt him forever. This interview, published in the defunct Kaduna-based New Nigerian newspaper on January 18, 1966, was a stark admission of his role in the brutal killing of Ahmadu Bello, a revered figure in northern Nigeria. To the northerners, Ahmadu Bello was more than a premier. He was a symbol of their identity, a unifying force and a champion of their interests. He was the Saduana of Sokoto, a title that commanded respect and admiration. His assassination was a devastating blow, and Nzogu's boastful interview was seen as a mockery, a blazing display of disregard for northern sensibilities. Nzogu's interview not only inflamed passion, but also solidified the Igbo coup hypothesis, reinforcing the narrative that the January 15, 1966 coup was an Igbo-led conspiracy to dominate Nigeria. This perception would have far-reaching consequences, contributing to the tensions that eventually led to a civil war. To understand what led to the first military coup, we need to take a look at the political climate of Nigeria at the time. Nigeria had gained independence from British colonial rule in 1960, but the transition to self-rule was marked by ethnic and regional tensions. The first military coup, which took place on January 15, 1966, was led by a group of young army officers, mostly from the Igbo ethnic group. The coup was sparked by a combination of factors, including the perceived corruption and incompetence of the civilian government, as well as a growing ethnic and regional tensions. The coup plotters, who were led by Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu, saw themselves as revolutionaries who were determined to overthrow the corrupt and oppressive government and establish a new order based on justice and equity. However, the coup was poorly planned and executed, and it ultimately led to the wave of violence and instability that swept across the country. The Northerners, who had lost their beloved premier, Ahmadu Bello, in the coup, were outraged and felt betrayed by the Igbo-dominated military. The situation was further complicated by the fact that the coup plotters had failed to capture or kill the president, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and the premier of Eastern Region, Chief Michael Obala, who were of the Igbo ethnic group, but had instead killed many prominent Northern leaders, including Ahmadu Bello and Tafala Balewa, the Nigerian Prime Minister. The aftermath of the coup saw a wave of violence and retaliation against the Igbo people, who were seen as responsible for the coup. The violence, which was perpetuated by the northern soldiers and civilians, resulted in the death of thousands of Igbo people and the displacement of many more. The tensions and violence that followed the coup ultimately led to the outbreak of Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War, in 1967. The war, which lasted for 3 years, resulted in the death of millions of people and the destruction of many communities. The war was sparked by the declaration of independence by the Igbo people and the subsequent invasion of the region by the Nigerian military.
Good evening. Greetings, everyone. I know you're all from different parts of the world, so I will say greetings to you all. I hope you're all having a good time during this festive season. There was a bit of a sad news today regarding the accident that Anthony Joshua was involved in, and there were fatalities, and it was very serious. And we would like to extend our condolences to the families of the one that have passed on, and hope he makes a quick recovery. It was a tragic event, and it was a car accident where their own car, ran into a trailer, behind the trailer that was parked. So yeah, it was a tragic event, and it wasn't. Hope everything, wish the family well, and hope he recovers. All right, so let's head back to the topic of discussion today. It's about Nigerians having colonial mentality. I played the video of Fela Anikulapo Kuti because he was the first person to popularize the term, and it's a term that kind of describes the way Nigerians think about themselves, and especially about leadership and what standards they should set and what they look up to and what they aspire to. So that is something that seems to imply that we aspire to our colonizers. We aspire to be like the colonizers in too many ways that are not good for us. In terms of language, according to what Fela was saying, even the governance style that we follow, even if it's not suitable for us, we go headlong. And I'm going to play some videos. It's not only Nigerians, there are other countries that go through the same problems. We see that in Burkina Faso when Sankara was assassinated, Kwame Nkrumah, so many that Lumumba was taken out of office. And this was done by fellow Africans, ensuring that we never see any development. And this same spirit that drives these Africans is still there today, and they don't recognize it themselves that they are the instrument of their own bondage. I'll repeat that statement. Many Africans don't understand that they are the instrument of their own bondage. In their eyes, they think they are fighting for their tribes, their religions, and whatever else they are fighting for. Often is just to destroy their own fellow countrymen. And this is what we seem to be spectacularly good at doing since the colonizers arrived. And there is also the reverse that most people don't take into account, that there is an element of colonial mentality on the other side. Even if they don't make it plain, they don't come and talk about it, they seem to expect us to be subservient. They seem to expect that from us. And that is something that, one doesn't pick up on as much. It's not only on one side, and it's a symbiotic relationship. You see how the president travels to France repeatedly and for healthcare. This is something that a people without colonial mentality would never do. You don't travel to other nations for treatment, especially the nations that are far more powerful than you, that have been known to colonize you. You don't go there for treatment, and you have money to treat yourself in your country, but you don't do that. The Nigerian government borrows billions upon billions of dollars every year. Many of them, as a matter of fact, they spend, I think by now, they probably have spent almost $8 billion subsidizing the dollar. Just 1 billion of that will build a world-class hospital. But our leaders jump overseas. Our Senate president, I think the last time they said he was in one of the, I think maybe France or UK for treatment again. Colonial mentality. This is the problem. We can't even change our name. We can't even rename our country. We can't make our language an official language in Nigeria. We can't teach our children in our own native languages. We can't write textbooks in our native languages. Our national anthem was changed from the one written by Nigerians to that written by a British white lady. This is, and the president that did this is this president that we are looking at, the current president, Tinubu, that did it. And he did it within a week without consulting Nigerians at all. So it begs the question, maybe that is the most important question we should be asking ourselves. Are we truly free of colonial mentality? Are we still kind of subjects of our colonizers? Because if we are not, if our people like to think they are not, but in reality, the way they think betrays it. You can see that in the way they are very happy for foreigners to come and attack us. One side is jubilating, the other side is looking at it with suspicion. You can see that in the way we welcome our leaders, seeing it. Okay, I wouldn't say that we welcome it, but we don't have much of a problem when our leaders travel overseas. Their children goes to school overseas, and they build houses overseas, and they're all there. They're all there. They come to your houses every day. They are next door to you all, and nothing happens to them. Nobody queries them. Nobody challenges them, because you know what? If you challenge them, they have the only power that has been granted to them by the outsiders to do whatever they like with you. Hence, they can just do whatever they like. That's why our people are so scared. So I'm going to play some videos, a kind of shedding light on some of these deep-seated problems within our societies. And because if you cannot break out of it, we know the consequences. Nigeria cannot aspire to greatness. And if Nigeria cannot aspire to greatness, chances are that the black man is in trouble too. Because if Nigeria cannot make it, I don't know what chance any other nation has in Africa. So I'm glad, thank you all for joining. I think more people are joining the live stream. I appreciate it. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. And also remember to click the notification button. I think it tends to come with subscription these days. But when you see the bell, click it so that whenever we are online, you'll be alerted. Also, it's very important for people to be able to see it, and the YouTube algorithm to promote the video so people can see more of this. All right, so I'm going to play some of the videos now, and I'm going to try to play them from historical point of view. I can't cover all of them because there are so many of Africans doing severe harm to our own prospects, really. And when we're doing it, we thought it was a great thing at the time. You know, like an example is like the way Nigerians treat Nnamdi Azikiwe. They treat him as if he's not some kind of, you know, pariah that doesn't deserve much of an attention. But while if he had his way, Nigeria would be better off today. The same thing with Kwame Nkrumah. If he had his way, Africa would be better off today. If Lumumba had his way, oh my God, the RC would be way better today. But this is what we do. And all these people, we destroy them. We use our hand to enable foreigners to destroy them. All right, let me play some of the videos now. Let me see. I'll start from Nkrumah.
My heart is heavy as I witness the damage which this.
No, I will start from his overthrow.
A coup was staged by factions in the police and military. So unpopular had the president become that hardly anyone opposed the takeover and no force was needed. In his absence, he was vilified for mismanagement, jailing his political opponents, ignoring the will of the people, and flirting with the communist bloc. While students burnt communist literature, the Chinese embassy was closed and its members expelled. Meanwhile, Nkrumah himself took refuge in Guinea, proclaiming that he and his Convention People's Party had been wrongly indicted on groundless allegations of bribery and corruption. But it was too late to protest. Too late.
Heart is heavy as I witness the damage which this clique of neo-colonialist conspirators are doing to our country. At the bidding of their overseas neo-colonialist masters, they are dismantling the work of 15 years. They are telling you that Ghana is bankrupt. They are telling you that our country is in debt to the extent of some 240 million pounds. What fools they are. How ignorant for them to think that you believe these stupid lies. Open your eyes and look around you. See for yourself. See the splendid new Tama Harbour. See the mighty water dam. See the fine roads which we have built under the leadership of the Convention People's Party and its government. See the schools, the colleges, and the universities. See the clinics, hospitals, health centers.
Yeah, that was Nkrumah, and you can see how he lamented how these leaders came, and this leader, they really did damage to Africa, actually, what they did. And you know, I wish if I have time, I'll play some of the, you know, so that you read some of the letters, some of those leaders, what they did. And I think he was eventually executed by Rawlins. So, but it would be interesting to have this conversation. Now, let me go to Lumumba.
Over a dozen states peaceably, but in the Belgian Congo, freedom was followed by rioting and army mutiny, a reign of terror and disorder. United Nations troops were called in to avert total chaos. For months, the political pattern kept changing with kaleidoscopic speed until pro-red Premier Lumumba was seized by the forces of strongman Colonel Mobutu. But the struggle for power was far from over. The leader of
Yeah, that was Lumumba there. You know how sad it was. Look at how they were treating him in front of his children, and Mobutu was laughing. He was laughing, and now look at this nation, what they've done. Look upon your work. Look upon your work. This is what our people are good at doing, destroying each other. You couldn't find other ways of doing it. Let me play another one that is called in Nigeria. Nigeria's one always happens in such a way you can't clearly see the lines like other nations, other nations, you can see clearly that there was an intervention to ensure that country remains under control. But in the case of Nigeria, it's very, very iffy. Some people say it was during the intervention for Murtala Mohammed, that's when it was clearer. But I'm not so sure because Murtala Mohammed may have made catastrophic mistake by reducing the size of the Nigerian military. He basically halved the Nigerian military size within a few years of him being in office. I think it was within a year or so. Why he did that, I don't know. And for somebody that wanted to build a great nation, why would you have the size of your military? And in the end, it's funny enough, he died without enough security around him. But let me play this. But that's not about Murtala, by the way. This one is about the way our Nigerian military undermined the country.
Parallel Security Force, led by Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, is Chief Security Officer. The August 27, 1985 Buhari overthrow had other short and long-term consequences. In cooperation with a vocal minority in the civil service, the Nigerian army sold its soul to the highest bidder. An upcoming group of coup d'etat experts was introduced by the main coup strategists, the IBB boys,
To the
a
highest
collection of
bidder.
personalities whose relationship with the boss ranged from intimate to opportunistic, were the center of this strange organization. They were granted access to all material and official doors as members of this private club. They were bootlickers who had a complicated conception of their constitutional and state obligations. Their principle was self-interest, and their dogma was loyalty to an individual. Indeed, the origins of 1980s coup merchants can be traced back to 1966. The major field grade officers that removed Gowon in July 1975 were mostly subalterns in July 1966. The February 1976 shootout, also known as the Dimka coup, was the result of infighting among the initial July 1966 coup cabal. The brigadiers of 1983 were the field grade officers of July 1975. The infighting among the brigadiers in 1983 also led to August 1985. In other words, throughout the course of a 20-year period, the same set of officers and men provided the foundation for multiple coup and coup attempts, and knowingly or not, constructed a pipeline to continue the pattern. Details of what happened on coup day soon became the topic of discussion in officers' messes and mammy markets across the country. Many of the august stormtroopers couldn't help but brag about their gallantry. Legends abound about how this or that road junction was seized, or how the police were overrun, or how citizens gazed in awe at tanks on the move. Bravado stories of specific policemen being arrested, abused, and or ridiculed were particularly upsetting. Clearly, these officers, particularly Major General Muhammadu Buhari, Brigadier Saliu Ibrahim, and Majors Mustafa Jokolo and Adesina, were luckier than the unfortunate policemen at Ikeja who were killed, as well as many of their military forefathers who were murdered brutally in previous coup in Nigeria. And most could not have failed to notice that the idea of detaining, stripping, beating, or killing senior officers or robbing their property was not new, as the January and July rebellions of 1966 had brutally revealed. Those with even longer memories will recall three separate investigations into stealing by Nigerian officers and soldiers during UN peacekeeping missions in the Congo from 1960 to 1964. Looting was also frequent throughout the Civil War. Following the coup in December 1983, President Shehu Shagari's personal possessions and life records were looted. Many of these priceless records and possessions have never been found to this day. However, the culture of publicly bragging about it and toasting to such a significant assault on the military's ethos and value system was sure to damage the institution. It was followed by thinly disguised rewards for participants in the form of juicy political and military appointments. These are a few examples. Major General Ibrahim Babangida became president and commander-in-chief, and 2 years later, a full general. He stepped aside under tense circumstances in August 1993. Brigadier Sani Abacha was promoted Major General and became Chief of Army Staff, later Chairman.
Sorry, I didn't know that nobody was hearing me. I was backstage. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was talking in the backstage and no one was hearing me. I was backstage. Sorry about that. So I was saying that they just promoted themselves. These military officers, they were relatively young, and by and large, they were more nationalist than politicians today. You have to grant them that. And Abacha himself was one of those leaders that didn't exactly play to the rules of the West as much. He wanted to break that streak, but he seems to fail. He seems to have failed in the endeavor because the way he came in was not the right way to have come into office. One, he put somebody in jail that won the election and started ruling the country with the iron fist. And if he was so keen on ruling, why did he not rule when Buhari took over or when Bangda was around? And he didn't do a very good job, I have to say. But all he did was ensure that the Nigerian reserve increased, foreign reserve increased, and stabilized the economy, given what was going on at the time, ensured a lower level of corruption. But the consequences of these rules just indicates the decline of the country. The trajectory was always the same. It never improved. The country was never a nation. And there was something shocking I saw today, actually, quite shocking. I read a letter written by the coup leader that brought Nkrumah down. And he made a comment about officers or politicians looking to try them and have them all executed. And he also said after he did that, they would disband the army in Ghana. Oh my God. You would disband your army. Oh my God. When I heard that, when I read that, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, how do you disband your, what kind of people are these? But here you go. This is our people. Because we are like children. We are not serious people. I tell you, the people that are running our countries are not serious people. What kind of nation disbands its army because of coups? Maybe you should figure out a way like other people did, but something is seriously wrong with our people. Something is seriously wrong. We have to seriously examine that today. I'm not the best person. I don't know whether I know how to examine. Maybe people can join and shed some light on it, because the kind of psyche I see within our culture, the way we behave, you can see that everywhere. That said, I'm going to start transitioning to today, because if we start covering all the videos, there are so many. There are so many examples of this, from the way we dress, our judges wearing white, white wigs, and just name it. Just name it. If we now sing a national anthem to a white woman's written this in anthem, because our president insists that that is the thing to do. Do you know there are some parts of the country in Nigeria today where they still have as governors of the state colonial rulers? Let me repeat that. There are some parts of the Nigeria today, on their walls, they still have the governors that ruled that state even during the time of colonization. So in other words, you preserve the heritage of your oppressor. Make that make sense? I don't understand that kind of mindset that does that. How can you aspire to greatness if you are thinking other people are your masters and you still see them as one? You sooner or later, when does the apprentice become a master? When does the apprentice graduate to actually taking responsibility? Because right now, our leaders and our people don't understand the concept of taking control of your destiny, because we have not manifested any sense of that. We have not. We can twerk, we can sing, we can act in theaters, but everything else we can't. We can barely build anything. We can't even sweep our roads properly. That's how bad it is. Like something as simple as organizing people to sweep your roads and make sure the whole country is clean is very hard. We can't figure that one out. Like I said, our behavior needs some serious examination. Something is off. Now, let me start playing some of the, some more recent videos, especially with the occurrence of what Trump has done. I think that's, as you can see, the caption kind of captures it, that Trump seems somehow has revealed what people are thinking in their minds. So let me just play some of these videos that are coming up at the moment. Yeah, these are one of them. Okay, I'll play this one from some European or Indian.
5% of the world's population still uses 25% of the world's resources. You outsource production to China and then you say China is the carbon polluter. China's producing your buckets. China's producing your nuts and bolts. China's producing your phones. Try to produce it in your own countries and see your carbon emissions rise. You love lecturing us because you have a colonial mentality.
That's true. Now I'll get this one out and bring the next one in. Let's get that on.
But the real bigger issue as I face the challenge of rebuilding our Africa is the realization that quite often many of us are still deeply colonized. Our actions are colonized. Our thinking, our decision-making processes, when we sit across that boardroom table as a CEO with degrees from Harvard and all the big schools around the world, we're still making decisions for Africa with a colonized mind. We're still leading our Africa with a colonized mind. But the real bigger issue as I face the challenge of
not Vietnam.
Tell him.
Nigeria is not Afghanistan.
Exactly.
Nigeria is not Iraq. Nigeria is not Iran. Nigeria is not Venezuela.
No.
If you attempt to encourage and make aggression and send your armed forces to Nigeria to wage war, it's an unscrupulousness. But be aware that our mosquitoes, they are waiting for your soldiers to bite them and infect them with malaria fever to die instantly.
Let me bring in, you see how our people respond when I try to share this. Let me play what they are talking about. Let me show you what they are saying in the chat. You never give on. You never give on goodness. Okay, let me see. Yeah, look at that. Let me see. I'm trying to find the comments. Basically, they're attacking me for saying what I'm saying now. That's our people, not the message. Attack me for it. All right, let me go and play this other one. Let's do that now. Nigerians celebrating Trump's
something that they'll believe.
That was Nigerians celebrating Trump's, threat to attack Nigeria. Why is this one stalling? Let me play another video of another Nigerian. Let's see. Just hold on for a second. I don't know why this video is stalling. I'm not so sure. It's just technical issues, I guess.
Belief, religion.
That's odd.
Easy. Easy.
Hold on, I'll take this video out and replay it again. It's just technical issues occurring, you know. My apologies for that. Let me see if I can find now let me bring on one other one, you know, so that you guys can watch how Nigerians were responding to Trump's threat when he threatened Nigeria at first.
Is this: we stand to defend, we stand to protect, we stand ready to deploy and destroy the enemies of the United States of America. So once America sees you as an enemy, we are coming to defend it, and we are coming to destroy it. That is certain. In his words, he said it's going to be quick, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be smooth. So Donald Trump is not sending the military to destroy Nigeria. We don't destroy countries. We don't destroy countries. We sustain peace. We maintain orderliness. Whenever there seems not to be peace, when there is no order, you are being given time, enough time to bring in peace, to bring in orderliness. And when you fail to do that, I think it is just common sanity for people to come in to bring those things. So that's just one thing I need people to know. Yes, Nigeria is a sovereign state, right? But when you as a sovereign nation fails in your responsibility to keep peace and sustain orderliness, definitely people are going to step in.
So I want to ask a question. Is there peace and orderliness in the United States?
I will tell you yes. You know why?
Why?
Okay, God bless you. Do you know, before I answer that, why we have lawyers is because laws are being broken, correct?
Okay.
And those that break laws still use lawyers to protect them and sustain them in breaking laws. Now, I'll answer your question. Is there peace in America and is there orderliness in America? I will be safe to use there is relatively peace, because from my knowledge of peace and conflict,
relative to who? Because America is not more peaceful.
Yes. So I'm coming. I said, with my little knowledge about peace and conflict, general studies, we call it GS in university back in the years, the definition of peace is not the absolute absence of violence. That's the definition of peace. It's not absence of conflict or absence of violence. There is orderliness in US because US, every action, I repeat, every action has its consequences no matter what. If you remember in 2021, the former governor of New York, Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, just a mere allegation, as at that point it wasn't proven, he resigned. Daddy Freeze, you and I know there are a lot of weighty allegations that are with proofs in Nigeria, and those guys have gone scot-free. So if you ask me, is there orderliness, is there peace in US? Yes. If a car hits my car now, I don't need the person to apologize. So the apologies, insurance is going to step in. There is orderliness. Right? Now, if I go to work, I clock in and I clock out, I don't need prayers to get paid. Definitely, I will be paid because I worked for it. That is orderliness. If I go sign up in your company that the freeze and show up for work today and tomorrow I don't come, probably I did not submit my account details. You know what's going to happen? They're going to send me that check in my house without me calling them. That is orderliness. Nigeria is about bringing in tax laws 1st of January 2026. And my question to Nigeria and Nigerians, If citizens are paying tax, are you still going to give them tax refund? I don't think Nigeria is going to do that. Are they going to give them tax refunds? Because it is not only in paying tax. Citizens will pay tax, but also know when citizens pay tax, they should be refunded some percentage. So, my dear Daddy Freeze, America is very peaceful. America is in order because anything you do here has consequences, regardless of who you are. I cannot say I'm in the military and the police will not pull me over. If I run a red light, I'm going to be pulled over. I'm going to be given ticket regardless of who I am. But in Nigeria, once I wear my army clothes, I am free to break the law anytime, any day. Nothing will happen. I will even insult a policeman because the policeman is a civilian, right? They will be even. I can be driving in Nigeria and drinking alcohol, and the policeman will see me on the road and wave me. But I can't do that in US. So I think Nigeria needs US to come and put things in place. And again, I might even take it further to tell you that I think it's my personal opinion. I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody. I think Nigeria wasn't even due for independence, and they had it. Because I can't see a country that operates like Nigeria, I'm sorry to say. Nothing is working, nothing has ever worked. So we have a lot to do as a country. So under the freeze, I will want you to maybe someday talk about these taxes. But there should be a tax refund if citizens are going to be paying taxes. What's going to happen to the refunds?
We've got.
As a Nigerian serving in the US military, saying that we should not have had independence. And there are many like that believe what he believes. They don't think we deserve independence. We might as well become. And the truth is that if you are, I wish there was a way to do a poll here. If I did a poll now to find out Nigerians that would like to see us recolonized, that number, you'll be surprised what you see. I'm not so sure what it's going to be, but you'll be surprised what you see. If the question was put to Nigerians, should we be recolonized? Hi, the people that haven't grown up yet. That number, you will be shocked what you find. I can almost bet more than 30% will say yes. More than 30% as it stands today will say yes, they want Nigeria to be colonized. That is no more than 50%. But let me go on with let's see whether this video is going to play again. I don't know what is happening with this video here. It's supposed to play fine. I don't know what is playing out. Let me see what it plays here.
Be something that they'll believe. No. Believe. Girl, believe. Belief. Religion. Christians.
So it's frozen again. I don't know why it's freezing.
Easy. They are targeting and viciously Christians. I mean, a lot of Muslims have died too, so I think we should incorporate that into the. We don't leave that part the fuck out. Leave that part out. They don't got shit to do with us. Let's just say it was ISIS. Let's just put it out there and just say that they're just attacking Christians. Yeah, innocent civilians, Muslims, Christians, all just Christians. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm only trying to tell just Christians. Y'all understand what I'm trying to say? We don't care. I do not care about anybody else. Because we're Christian, we have to unalive people.
Okay.
Unaliving Christians. Because it's the Christian thing to do.
I don't know why this is doing this. I'm not so sure.
No matter what it's really about, they're gonna believe anything that I say. You understand me? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. So if y'all just lock in with me real quick, lock in. We can have this thing done by Christmas. It'll be a Christmas gift. And what about the oil? Oil. I don't know anything about oil. I'm trying to do this out of the love I have for Christians. That's all. Listen, no one gives a damn, okay? They're gonna believe me whether I provide facts or not, so let's just wrap this shit up. Like, I got shit to do. You already have the theme, anti-Christian. They're gonna eat that shit right up. It is what it is, no matter who I'm in cahoots with. No matter the truth. No matter the truth, okay? This is the truth. We tell them what's true and what's not true. Come on, I'm out. Meeting adjourned.
With Africa has never been neutral. It has never been accidental, and
This one is involving the tax bill and the implementation application that is being shared with the French. And I have to be careful because this lady, her video seems to play some songs in the background, so I don't want it to be flagged. But let's see.
Has never been innocent. For decades, long after so-called independence, France maintained an economic and political stranglehold over its former colonies through tightly controlled monetary systems, military agreements, political interference, and corporate dominance. This system even has a name, Frank Afrique. Welcome to the Sankofa Pan-African series. Please take a moment to subscribe if you have not yet done so, and turn on your notification button. Share and like our videos. Do support us through Patreon or by buying me coffee so we can continue to bring you this series. Thank you. From the CFA franc, still binding 14 African countries, to French financial oversight, to repeated military interventions framed as security assistance, France has perfected a model of influence that preserves access, leverage, and control long after colonial flags were lowered. And this history is not distant, it is ongoing, which is why Nigeria's decision through the Federal Inland Revenue Service to enter into a tax partnership with France is not just puzzling, it is frightening, it is profoundly irresponsible. France's former African colonies did not simply inherit weak institutions, they inherited systems deliberately designed to make them remain dependent. The CFA franc zone, controlled in part through French Treasury guarantees and policy oversight, has restricted monetary sovereignty, constrained industrial growth, and facilitated capital flight for decades. French multinationals continue to dominate energy infrastructure, telecommunications, logistics, while the African states absorb the costs. And when leaders or populations challenge this arrangement, the response has historically been swift: political destabilization, economic pressure, and military intervention. So when France presents itself today as a neutral technical partner, especially in matters of state infrastructure, for us to believe that claim, we need to first of all willfully choose to ignore history. And nowhere is that history clearer than in Haiti. Haiti is the most extreme and the most instructive example. After defeating Napoleon's army in 1804 and becoming the world's first Black republic, Haiti was not rewarded for its revolutionary courage. Rather, it was punished heavily, and it continues to suffer as a result of that punishment. In 1825, France sent warships and forced Haiti to pay an independence indemnity, 150 million gold francs, as compensation to former French slaveholders for the loss of enslaved people and plantations. Haiti was forced to borrow from French banks at insanely high interest rates to pay France for the crime of freeing itself. Public revenue was drained away from schools, hospitals, infrastructure, and other things were lacking. By some estimates, Haiti paid the equivalent of tens of billions of dollars in today's terms. This was not a historical accident, it was a message. Black independence would be punished economically. France extracted wealth from Haiti long after colonial rule ended. Haiti has continued to be locked into cycles of underdevelopment by France, its European and North American allies, especially the US, ever since. These same leaders of the so-called free world have since used Haiti's poverty as evidence of Black incapacity for self-government.
I'm not so sure it's only them. As you can see, McKennelly is making the black people very proud here. He's a very, he's very, very proud. Let me start naming names. Let me start naming names. McKennelly, you are really making black people very, very proud. Eh? And who else is there? Yeah, on the platform that alone has a position T.Y. Danjuma. T.Y. Danjuma, you are also one of them that should be named. You see, do you know what they are doing in the chat? Just in case, because I'm not highlighting all of them. They are basically attacking me for sharing this. Like, oh, you think you know it all and all that stuff. Come on, man. People, stop this. Really, you guys need to stop this and get out of this mindset. Because they are trying to show you what our people do. Let me just play a video of, some of our people, the kind of mindset we have. Because let me just play this one.
Yesterday, celebrating Christmas, doing firework, throwing knockout, poor. Uncle Donald, you know Uncle Donald, now Uncle Donald Trump. Uncle Donald was in Nigeria doing his own firework with military bomb. Uncle Donald is currently in Nigeria, so it's about to go down. Uncle Donald is doing what your politician failed to do. Uncle Donald even wishes us Merry Christmas for the living and dead terrorists. God, I don't die. Uncle Donald, don't stuck on us. He's stuck on us. This thing you're about to do, please calm down. I know you are angry, but give us one more grace. Ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na. Listen, it's about to go down. Uncle Donald, as your favorite nephew, let there be calmness. Please, let there be calmness. Let there be calmness. Ceasefire for now. Ceasefire. Put back your sword. Because if you do as you are planning now, Nigeria will finish. You get to the point now, don't do that thing that is in your mind. Let this first attack. Let's wait first. If this thing continues, you can do what you want to do. But please, let there be calmness. Because this thing you are, it will affect everybody, or it will affect the terrorists and still affect the citizen. Because in that place you throw that military knockouts, there are citizens, innocent citizens living there. I know you are doing what is nice, but please ceasefire for now. Let's wait a little bit. If the thing continue, do whatever. I will support you. Personally, I will support you like this. I'm shaking. I don't know what to do. Uncle Donna, please, let there be calmness. Calmness in your spirit. Please, I know you're angry. I know you love us. But please. Butu, calm down. Degina. Butu, Jeje, Erara. Shoyebe, Eshe. Thank you, sir. Your Majesty, sir.
those on social media who continue to misquote and misrepresent people and say, oh, Senate President answers President Trump. Who am I to answer President Trump? That is the reason why I've directed my lawyers to petition that blogger. It is the presidency that will answer President Trump. And all Nigerians are doing their best in that direction. We have not discussed the comment of President Trump in chambers yet. I know we will.
In a swift intervention, the Deputy Senate President weighed in with his own view on the matter.
I'm a Nigerian. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. I'm a parliamentarian. I'm a Deputy Senate President. I can speak on behalf of Nigeria. I'm not scared of Trump.
But do not allow others to speak for you.
Don't be scared of Trump.
All right. So I would like to commence my own analysis of some of the topics and videos that have been played. I think the case is already made, but if I was to buttress it even further, let me play this video from this gentleman describing some of, so I don't have to do a lot of talking, so it saves me a lot of talking. And I can see some people are asking me questions about that already. Let's see if I can get this out of the way and then get that one on.
Do we have sense at all in Africa? Fellow Nigerians, this is a call to reimagining, for us to reimagine and reevaluate our ways. This is a call for us to confront and question our convictions about how we approach things like the accustomed ways of running corporate administrative bodies, like our accepted protocols and bureaucracy around politics and governmental MDAs, like the way we operate businesses in this area, even the mechanisms for climate control, religious practices, and overall societal ideals. This is not to throw shades at anyone, so please don't get me wrong, because it's a collective responsibility on every one of us as a way to advance the society we live in. Now, the irony is that the systems and structures that run most institutions in the world that we live in today were designed and passed on to us by certain long dead individuals based on the realities they found themselves decades and centuries back. But my shock is, how come the world we live in is changing so rapidly, yet we've insisted on applying the rules of a world that once was? If a one-off second chance at reasoning were given to the dead once again, I believe that whilst on one hand, most of the people who died might feel proud to realize that even some of their serendipity-driven actions and spontaneous inventions and ideals are still upheld this high, decades, generations, and centuries after. I also believe that, on the other hand, they would also be shocked that humanity hasn't advanced in thinking and reasoning beyond what they will undoubtedly consider as, in today's world, as their antiquated crafting of those times, inspired the technological and information revolution and advancements that we are privy to, which obviously eluded them. Do I start from Cornelius Vanderbilt, who was involved in transportation and built interconnection of cities using the railway systems? The question is, how far have we advanced the rail system in Nigeria and Africa? What about John D. Rockefeller, who built an oil empire and found a way to build pipelines to transport his oil from city to city rather than depend on Vanderbilt's railroads business? A competitive move anyway. But how is it that we are still stuck with pipelines as a means of transporting oil from southern Nigeria to the north? That's how we fail me to make reference to Andrew Carnegie or to talk about JP Morgan, who developed a model for running financial institutions, which our banks today have not even advanced much beyond. My call is for us to engage our minds as a people in honest conversations around what we consider as our way, or the way that we choose to do things in our religious styles, in our businesses, corporate practices, and the likes. Because our children are looking up to us for a better, more enabling, more sustainable systems that preserve the right values of humanity and they preserve the society we live in. So my humble challenge to us is to ask ourselves certain questions. Number one, who created the ideology driving your organizational policies? Who exactly wrote the original script of the HR policy that your company is currently running on, which is killing creativity? Can we rather model, why are we not modeling institutions like the SEMCO's democratic workplace culture in Brazil, where employees set their own goals, decide when to come to work, and choose what resumption time will be per person per time? What about Zappos culture in the US or the Southwest Airlines, where fun is a central or core part of employees' work? In this kind of environment, you play too much, they say you're not serious. Now, finally, let me ask a question. Who exactly instituted the policy that two people working in an office cannot marry and still remain employees? I hear that there are things like, okay, they say it's to avoid distractions at work on one hand, and also to avoid the two people colluding to defraud the organization, especially where it's a financial institution that we're talking about. But let's dispassionately dissect this a little more. The Holy Scriptures have made it clear that your heart.
Okay. Let's not go into Holy Scripture. Clearly, that is also an issue. All right, so let me try to make an announcement. The live stream is going to end on Dr. Damage's Iroko Post TV, Njenje Media, and it's going to only remain on 2Niger channel. So to continue viewing it, use the link on the chat, and you'll be able to go over there to carry on viewing the channel. This in the live stream. We are going to be talking about, examples of what the colonial mentality is and how it's actually, displays itself with the recent events with Donald Trump and the attacks that's happening, how different parts of the country is responding to it. And we're also going to talk about how we are going to navigate our way out of this way of doing things, and how to create a better country that is more stable for the long-term future, because there are some actual analysis that I've done about this, to what comes out, the best system that you can go with for a country like Nigeria that will last for the long term and people will feel represented. And I also did some analysis regarding our security situation, and so I'll be presenting some of the cases there and how to truly solve this problem instead of us, twerking to Donald Trump. Then obviously we'll take views from different contributors, and they will be able to share their own opinion. And obviously, I will be looking to ask some searching questions just to get to, to get the viewers to get a better idea of what the concepts and whatever solutions that they come up with, because this kind of conversation is quite important that we have them. So the live stream is going to be ending on the other channels in about 5 minutes. We'll be ending it, so you want to move over to Niger, and we'll carry on the discussion there. Hats Valiant, are you there? Hats Valiant. How are you?
Okay. I'm here.
Thank you.
I'm fine.
Thank you for joining me today. So yeah, you saw the video. One of the first videos I played was from that northern intellectual describing the impact of colonial mentality. He talked about how they discussed changing our language to a local, that's our national language, to a local language, and people were complaining, oh, you want to Islamize us and different things. Even if the language is actually Hausa, it's not necessarily Arabic. So you see, the way we think is always, and besides, you don't have to have one national language. South Africa have multiple official languages in their country. There are many countries with many official languages. I don't understand why Nigeria
Yeah, do you know
have
why
issues. Go
Swahili
ahead.
is in East Africa? Do you know why Kiswahili is the like the lingua franca in East Africa? You cross borders like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Zanzibar, all these places they speak Swahili. And what Swahili essentially is a mix up of the local languages and a little bit of Arabic. To it forms the basis of the language, but you need a lingua franca, no matter what people think about it. And the more local it is, the more original you are. Well, it is what it is. In Nigeria, we always have this problem, and but then the choice of using Hausa probably it will come off to some people as trying to dominate them. But Hausa has been around before Islam came. Hausa has been around before Christianity came, and there are Hausa Muslims, there are Hausa Christians. But the very fact that this language has spread all over West Africa, and it is so easy to learn and to use, it shows something. It points to the possibility of its usage more generally. I know Nigerians, the more you talk about this and you sound northern, the more they feel attacked. It is difficult, getting people out of this mentality. As the man said, it is difficult. But yeah, it cannot set. I will not believe that it cannot be done. Even if it's not Hausa, let's do something more original. Let's get away from, worshipping idols, because this mentality is unfortunate. It's keeping us down. The slavery is institutional. It is it's
You said
overwhelming.
something about worshiping idols. What do you mean by worshiping idols?
Yeah, it's a metaphor.
Okay.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for keeping an idol has no power. You give it power when you kneel and prostrate before it, or you ascribe certain things to it. Something in itself has no power. It is the meaning. Okay, let me not say idol, because I know I may touch some people's religious sensibilities, but that's not what I mean. What I meant is that, for example, in sociological terms, Emily Durkheim.
Vivian, can you put your camera on, please? It's not necessary on the weekday, but people are complaining.
Oh God.
So yeah, and see, part of the problem I fear, a lot of people have issues. They feel like different parts of Nigeria have too many different values that we can't seem to reconcile them. We will not be able to reconcile them from the way they look at it, and that we can't carry on like this. We have to figure out the way to either break the country up, or find a way to get things done better. And for me, that is what I'm trying to do as much as I can, at least support anyway, as much as I can, because any other path to me is not viable. It's not going to get us out of the mess we are in. Yeah, carry on with your submission. Thank you for putting the camera on.
Okay, so essentially what Emil Durkheim was talking about is about functionality of crime. Now, when I talk about this, and when we talk about this, you know why you are being attacked about things like this is because people think you are attacking their God, their religion, or their sensibilities, or what they have grown to know as normal. But there is a place for rebellion in a society or in a civilization that needs to grow. what you will always notice in history is the fact that people who conform, and that there are people who rebel. Even though those who rebel are tiny, the more those who rebel actually shape the future, because rebellion is actually functional in the sense that if you notice throughout history, what was wrong yesterday may be right today, what may be criminal yesterday may not be criminal today, and what is criminal today may not be criminal tomorrow. So rebellion is important. It is important in the sense that it pushes society forward, it brings new ideas, and that those ideas, the more they are consistent with the truths and philosophies of the people, the more likely that those people are to progress. That is a fact. If they don't align, they don't align. If they align, they align. I don't want to be too long-winded. Um, I'll leave for others to give their own 2 cents, but I have so much to say, especially around identity, because the basis of the problem is just like Professor Ali Mazrui once said. This concept of triple heritage, that Africans have, especially the Black African, the fact that first of all, he is either Islamic or Christian. That this is one. Second of all, he's holding on to the problem is not only holding on to his tradition in a balanced way, the more negative aspects of it, this tribal mindset that makes you hate the other tribe. Every tribe has it, but in order for civilizations to grow, you have to leave those things behind and move to a more tolerant, common
Yeah.
ground. And where is that next step? That is at a racial level. That is why up till now, it's only the black man that do not understand where those boundaries lies and where he has to surrender religious identity for racial identity. He doesn't know. You see, those who he claims to follow are even using it against him. He will kill his brother for them because he is thinking he is doing the right thing. This man has been so abused. Now that's not the only problem. Another problem too is westernization, because these Westerners, especially the Teutonic Anglo-Saxons, who have whitewashed, even the Christ that our people are now worshiping, is not the real Christ is something else. He's darker. He's more Moorish than he is, blue, blonde, blonde-eyed somebody. And the values he carry are a lot more similar to the Nubian value, because if you look at where the original African civilizations, that a lot of Bantu and Lower Congolese tribes or languages claim to have heritage from, they came from that part of Africa, quite northeastwards, closer to those areas down to West Africa. The Kanuri trace their lineage to that place. The Nupe trace their lineage to that place. A lot of other people trace their lineage. So you see this this association with these three conflicting identities, because at the essence of everything, when you look at it, is religion is a complete way of life. There is no space for. So in Islam, for example, the institution of family, the economic institution, the political institution, the justice system, everything is laid down by God and by the Prophet. Okay, so it's a complete way of life. But then you say you are a Muslim, and then you say, for example, you are a Kanuri. So, for example, in Islamic terms, when males and females are not supposed to dance together or mix up, and dance together. So when we do our marriages here, in the morning we say the Fatiha. That is Islamic way of doing it. So that should have still the marriage. No, but it's not done because we are Africans. We still have that in us. We want to called the Gangakura. So we'll bring the Gangakura, we'll play it, and then men and women will dance together. You know, that is African. Islamically, we are not supposed to do that, but we do it anyway because
Yeah.
it's still part of us. We don't want to let that part of us go. So, and then in the evening, at night, especially for the more urbane ones, you see the bride and the bridegrooms, some of them wearing tuxedos, and then the ladies wearing some form of gowns.
Yeah.
And that tells you everything you need to know about it. Because it is only in Africa that this will happen like that. Anywhere else, they'll just do one and it's over. Look at our court systems. You have the Sharia, you have the customary, you have the civil. What are we doing here? And they're just there. So where this thing overlaps, your allegiances are spread thin. People don't know where to pledge their allegiance to, and for them, their Africanness seems to take the last, because that is what has
Thank
been.
you.
It's the list of their choice. That is what has been emphasized to them. So let me just stay here. I think let me give other people a chance to talk, and maybe I'll
Let me announce, because I'm going to be ending it now one by one. On first is Iroko Post. I'm going to end it. So if you're on Iroko Post, may I guide you to ask you to go on to this link. You have to go to a different link to continue watching, because we are shifting from here so that we can finish the conversation there. There's a lot of ground still to cover. We are going to be sharing the analysis of how to get out of this, and what we can do to make Nigeria more stable. There are two parts. You pick and choose which one is best. And then the security situation we are facing that resulted in so many people welcoming Trump to, attack or bomb some parts of the country, which is, targeting the terrorists. We can also, I did some further analysis on it, so that it makes it more crystal clear to people what is going on and why our leaders haven't even bothered to fix this. So that is going to be very important. So join us on To Niger, and that way you can be able to carry on with the conversation. And then obviously there will be more areas to discuss, especially how we can mitigate the issues that result from our differences. That is very important. We get it right. All right. So Iroko Post is going to be ending now. Where is Iroko Post? End on remove. Unlike not delete from YouTube. Move from here. So Iroko Post is gone now, and one by one I'll be trimming it down. And I would like to see the Iroko Post people move to True Niger if you want to carry on watching. And so I will allow. I will have Revolution now. Revolution now, are you there? I know he doesn't stay very long, and he comes to just share his view and run away to Sweden to go and enjoy himself. You're welcome. You are one of those people. You must. Are you proud of that image? You must be proud, isn't it? The image is really suitable.
Of what? Of what? Image of what, please?
Are you seeing the guy kneeling before Trump?
Sorry, forefathers.
Yes.
You don't really understand the type of people we are. When we tell you about what is going on, it's not kneeling in front. That guy, that is just what you call. How do you call this? Is it that is hypocrisy?
How?
That is hypocrisy. What you are doing, who brought ever this picture is a hypocrite, trying to think that Trump is oppressing the black man.
Is he not?
He's not. This is, the last time when you remember that night, Mr. Pansat was here and made a good submission. I told you something. This type of pictures you are showing cannot change people like us, because we know it doesn't exist. If he ever existed, Trump should be the Oba of Benin and that guy kneeling down. Yes, that is what is happening in Africa. The blacks punish the blacks. You understand me?
On behalf of whom?
Excuse me. That picture you are seeing can be Tinubu. Have you seen Tinubu? The latest picture he was
Yeah,
leaving
but where has
Nigeria
Tinubu
today.
just gone? Where has Tinubu just gone?
I don't know where he was gone. He went
Of course,
to,
he went to a NATO nation.
Excuse me. What I'm trying to say, I'm trying to make a statement about this picture you are showing now, to claim that maybe Trump is trying to belittle a black man. I want to just tell you, Tinubu was leaving today, and women were kneeling down, telling him goodbye. A black man who didn't win an election, a terrible man. Fellow black people were kneeling down just to tell him goodbye.
I saw that, and it is stupid. But let me ask you, though. Let me ask you.
Yes.
Where does his true power come from?
Who?
Tinubu. Where does his power come from? Is that not where he's going?
He got his power from the culture of Africa. Africans celebrate the worst of us. As far as they manage to kill somebody to get money or do something terrible to get money, African culture will tell you to respect them. That is where his power comes from, forefather, if you want me to explain it to you.
So if you try to remove Trump now, if you try to remove Tinubu from office now and put a good leader, do you think Trump will be happy with that leader?
Of course. Trump came because, excuse me, give me a minute to explain something to you, forefathers, before you ask me another question. Trump came in, first of all, he told us that we are a disgraced nation because he can't imagine a nation blessed with everything and we cannot even feed ourselves. You okay? Before, if you remember very well, when I was still a young guy, we fed ourselves. We have oil plantation. That time I was living in Lagos. So when I was going to school in the Delta at that time, when I got there, my uncle will take us through. You see plantation of oil palm. You walk kilometers. Those things are no more there anymore. Africans bought up those land, destroyed that place, and built houses on it. Okay? So if Trump knows, and even my wife, a white woman, when she was young, they read about how rich a country in Africa is. What's the name of that country? Nigeria. So when they see Nigerians today as refugees begging, they can't comprehend that. They can't believe it. Okay? So if we want to be honest to ourselves, because I'm not angry about this type of picture you put here to show that Trump is an imperialist. I started watching you when you were showing what Congos did to.
It's okay. Just hold on for a second. Let me end this thing because this is time based. I need to be able to end it so we can carry on the other one. So, Injenge Media viewers, if you are currently on Injenge Media, please go over to True Niger, and the link is there. I think I should share the True Niger channel so you'll be able to get the live feed there and join the this in the live stream so that you can watch the submission. And also I will try to highlight it here for you. So this is the link there. You can look at the extension and just type it in front of your YouTube link and you'll be able to get to watch the live stream and carry on watching it. Just fine, because I'm going to disconnect Injenge Media now so that we can carry on the discussion. Then finally, I will disconnect Dr. Damages. All right. Thank you, the Injenge channel. Catch you guys next time. Bye.
But I'm on True Niger now. I tuned in directly.
Yeah, that's fine. You are fine. It's not going to affect you.
I'm your fan, but sometimes I argue with you because you guys you educated guys. Sometimes you want to send us nuts. You think that those of us who grew up in the streets should be educated with lies. You understand me? Because this your picture, you have to pull it down.
You don't like
it down. It is not true. It's hypocrisy. Pull it down and put something. What is happening in Africa? Trump, the Oba of Benin should be standing where Trump is. The Winners Chapel, what he called himself, of General Overseer, you should put him where Trump is standing. These are the people oppressing black people. They call them daddy. They call them mommy. They call them this, and you cannot stand up and greet them. You have to kneel down. You have to even lie down to talk to criminals.
But many of these people, they derive their power from them.
From where?
From the West, specifically, they derive their power from them.
Excuse me, forefathers, please. They derive their power from the so-called African tradition. That is where the West, you cannot see. Let me tell you something. Where here I live, I don't know how they do it in UK, but I've been in UK many times. Of course, I don't like those type of places because you see black people behaving like white men, and you know they even want to be more white than the white themselves. I've seen them many times, you know. So what I'm trying to tell you is, in the white culture, which most of you blame for African downfall, a small child will greet you in the morning, hello, a kid, and he goes this way. He don't have to kneel down for his mother or for his father. But African today, you saw Obasanjo, one of these films, he told you, I don't know whether I remember one controversial thing that happened one time. He told all of them, hey, get up and greet me. And then when he went to the Oba, he knelt down to greet an Oba. You see these things. These are the African culture. That is why Africa is down, especially Nigeria. We cannot get up if we don't dismantle this traditional whatever we have in that country. They have to go.
But to be fair to the traditionalists, they have very little power now. The politicians control everything now.
Then you are not living in reality, forefathers. If you are living in reality, even the forefathers control the politicians in a way. I mean, when you talk of traditional leaders, you talk of those that matters, not the ones that buy their own with money. Talk about the ones.
But what has Oba Benin done that makes you think that he's
okay? Let me just give you the latest news now. I don't know whether you might have come across it. There's one guy from Edo citizen who went to somewhere in Europe and greeted his fellow brothers and sisters, Edo Etokpei. I don't know what Etokpei means in the Benin language, but I think it's like long live the king, because that's how they greet their king. You know, I don't know, but I'm not sure. I start to be corrected on this. Now, he came back to Nigeria after that conference. Do you know that guy was bundled, almost they nearly nakeded him for greeting his Edo brothers, Edo Etokpei. What is the reason? That is only used for our Oba. Why should you go and use it for the other people? That's an example. And when they asked the Oba, he said he don't know anything about it.
Yes, he may not know anything about it, but he may do. But I support the idea that he should not have been, attacked at all. Yeah, it's almost similar to what happened to Deborah, isn't it? Where somebody just says something, you attack them. You don't do that. But to be fair to the Oba, he never. In short, this is one of the first incidents that I've ever heard of in Edo State, and there is an element of frustration from the Edo or the Benin Kingdom, given the treatment they received from Nigeria. Did you hear about the larger issue that wanted to creep its way into Edo recently? And then you saw the artifact that was being returned, that there was a little bit of who controls what and who doesn't. So there's a little bit of people are beginning to feel like the Benin Kingdom is being treated like trash. You see what I mean? And it wasn't a wise time for him to start using that term, changing it up, because even I'm not like from Edo, but I know that term is about Tokpei. You don't change it up as an Edo citizen just like that, because their tradition is very, very strong. You see, they said like Edo man, they don't point at even the palace. You can't point at the palace. That's how strong the control of the palace was. You can't physically point at the palace, that because it's forbidden to do that.
And don't forget about when the monarchy dies, a head is used, or how many heads is used to bury them. A live head, though. Don't forget about that.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was the tradition that they used to practice, where to be
Have
fair,
they
it's not
ended
only
it?
it's not only the Oba. This I think is ended. Come on, it's going to be ended now. It's not only the Oba. There's also the ones in the southwest. I don't know how many people do it in the southeast, but I know that definitely they do that in the southwest before now. But most of all these things are behind us now.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Did you find out? Or you are just
Because
speculating?
I guess you can say I'm speculating, but I think it is, even when the British were here, it was outlawed. So
anyway, Fofa, let me end so that the brothers, and I think there's another brother there, so that I don't. Let me just end and then keep watching.
Take your time.
Let me tell you something, forefathers. You see this picture you painted. I joined you when you came in because I had a notification. So I was just walking. I just came back. I joined you. I saw what you've been talking about and whatever you have been. Okay, we agree. I listen. I'm a good listener. But let me tell you, and then you put up this picture of a black man kneeling in front of Donald Trump. You don't need to criticize. You don't need to defame a good man. Trump might have his own style, but the world we are living today needs a policeman who is honest. Because so many people has reason to take laws into their hands.
You think Trump is honest?
Believe me, that man, anything he says, he has been doing it. Whether he did something to hurt you or did something to support you. But anything he said he was going to do, he has done it as a leader in a confused world.
Revolution now. Do you think maybe because he did what you like, that's why what if Trump did something you don't like? Would you have liked him?
Excuse me. I started by telling you that the world we live today, we need a policeman. What is the job of a policeman?
That's the UN.
To control
it's supposed
those.
To be the UN.
Yeah, to control those who take the laws into their hands. Okay?
Yes.
And we have Gumi in Nigeria recently talking rubbish everywhere, calling people idiot and all these things. If an Igbo man or even a South or any other person say half or 1/4 of what he's saying today, by now that guy will be nowhere to be found. Okay? So tomorrow now, if like what I don't support Israel, what they did in Palestine, I thought it was horrible. Says, okay, now we will have to remove this man. And one day we hear that they detected him through their sophisticated missile and they bombed Gumi to pieces. People will rise up and say, oh, that is inhuman. But we know what that man is doing right now.
But hold on. Why do we do this though? Gumi himself said, and I think maybe somebody came on the news and said, whenever Gumi is going to meet these people, he consults with the Nigerian intelligence to say he's going to go. They give him the go-ahead to go and meet them. I don't know why we just believe stuff that there's no resemblance to reality. I don't understand that.
Forefather, I like people to be realistic. He goes to meet these people. That was then. Since this crisis started, this is so-called people that he goes to meet has been killing innocent people, drove innocent people from their ancestral land. These people live in the ID camp. What has Gumi said or done about people live? I mean, just watch this. Let's forget about who he is, what he does.
Hold on though. If say Very Dark Man goes and sees the terrorists, should that also mean Very Dark Man should be,
My brother, that is where I always get this. I have this problem with you. How can you be comparing apple with orange sometimes? Why?
Okay, what is so different? Because I to be fair, no, seriously, to be fair, I understand what you are saying. I understand your frustration. Try to hear me out, because from where I sit, just try to see where I'm seeing. From where I sit, I see Very Dark Man advocating for people's interests, saying that bandits are bad people and all the rest, but also wants to go and hear their side. Because I remember he was talking about Fulanis complaining that their cows are being killed and all the rest of it. He went and heard from their own point of view. And what Gumi is doing so far, from what I've heard, I don't think he supports people getting kidnapped. I don't know if maybe I'm mistaken. He doesn't support people
I
getting
support
kidnapped.
revolution now on Gumi's case. Gumi is
Oh, look at this one.
actually,
Hold
yeah.
on, Daddy.
I
No,
support
because you have
revolution
to,
now,
yeah, no, you can feel
particularly on
frustrated by
Gumi.
him. Okay. You know what? I would like to hear what he actually has done because this type of stuff is actually important. But
No,
remember,
Father, excuse me. Just give me a minute so that I go. Just 1 minute.
I need to end on Doctor. Let me end it on Dr. Damages. Let me just end it on, so I'll carry on the conversation. You see, viewers, I really do appreciate you all for joining us. But when I keep saying you should go to you should go to True Nigeria, people are still going to Dr. Damages because I'm going to be ending on Dr. Damages, and that's where most of the viewers are. So I'm going to give you all a chance to go to this in True Nigeria to actually capture this thing, to carry on watching. Because most of the viewers have moved from Njenje Media and Iroko Post to this is Dr. Damages, but you need to be on. Oh, it's not even there. Let me just get it. Sorry for the delay. I'm just trying to reorient the live stream. This is going to be an interesting conversation. I think it's already beginning to capture my own imagination. And it seems like it's going to be interesting to have this conversation, actually. And because I really need to understand how this is happening. How that's the link there to carry on viewing and, commenting and all the rest. Feel free to join us there because I'm going to be ending on Dr. Damages now. Go to True Nigeria there. That's the link there. All right, let me pull that plug now. Boom. That's it.